God dag, alle sammen! NorwegianABC.com lessons are saying hello for the 10th time. Today is leksjon nummer 10. Are you ready to continue learning correct Norwegian? La oss begynne! Before starting a new topic on grammar, let's do some tongue and ear practice. Let's practice pronunciation. First, say hello to Emma. Hello, Emma. How are you? Hei, Emma. Hvordan står det til?
Hei, Jan. Det går fint. Hva med deg?
Jo, takk. Det går veldig bra. Let's do a listening task. Lytteøvelse. En lytteøvelse. Listening task. Let's practice pronouncing the long vowels. Lange vokaler and the short vowels. Korte vokaler. I will say two words. One word with a long vowel and the other one with a short vowel. Lang vokal A. Va. Va. Kort vokal A. Anne. Anne. Lang vokal O. Polen. Polen. Kort vokal O. Oslo. Oslo. Lang vokal U. Du. Du. Kort vokal U. Unni. Unni. Lang vokal Å. Ålesund. Ålesund. Kort vokal Å. Kommer. Kommer. A. Han. Han heter Andreas. A. Han. Han heter Andreas.
Han heter Andreas.
A. Fra. Han fra Afrika. A. Fra. Han fra Afrika.
Han fra Afrika.
O. Hvor. Hvor Polen? O. Hvor. Hvor Polen?
Hvor Polen?
O. Bor. Hun bor i Bolivia. O. Bor. Hun bor i Bolivia.
Hun bor i Bolivia.
Og. Nå. Han bor i Ålesund. Og. Nå. Han bor i Ålesund.
Han bor i Ålesund.
Og. På. Nå bor de på Åkra. Og. På. Nå bor de på Åkra.
Nå bor de på Åkra.
U. Du. Hva heter du? U. Du. Hva heter du?
Hva heter du?
U. Hun. Hun heter Unni. U. Hun. Hun heter Unni.
Hun heter Unni.
Ved. Vi. Vi bor i Bergen. Ved. Vi. Vi bor i Bergen.
Vi bor i Bergen.
Ved. Hvor. Hvor bor vi? Ved. Hvor. Hvor bor vi?
Hvor bor vi?
How did you do with the listening task? Shall we repeat? Skal vi gjenta? Listen and repeat until your pronunciation sounds as nice and correct as mine. Let's continue with our lesson. We have already learned about the nouns, verbs, adjectives, adverbs, clauses, and cardinals. Now it's important to arrange them correctly in a sentence. Today we will learn the word order. Ordstilling. Sit back and listen. Ordstilling. Word order. In Norwegian, sentences are classified into principal clause and subordinate clause. A principal clause, hovedsetning or helsetning, may exist independently and is comprised of a subject and predicate at least. For example, det regner. It is raining.
Det regner.
Vi drikker melk. We drink milk.
Vi drikker melk.
We know the main things from the first lessons, right? Let's repeat. First, word order in a sentence is strict. Maybe in your mother tongue, the words in a sentence may be placed as you wish and as it sounds better for you. For example, it's fun what you said. In Norwegian, the order of words in a sentence is strict, and you cannot say it in Norwegian. Right, am I? Emma?
Det sant. Ordstilling veldig viktig.
Secondly, yes, ordstilling veldig viktig. A sentence in Norwegian is most often, but not always, started with a subject. Subject and the predicate, verbal, is always in the second place. This rule must be learnt by heart, and as my dad says, remembered when woken up in the middle of the night. A sentence starts with a subject and the predicate follows. Jeg bor I Norge. I live in Norway.
Jeg bor I Norge.
Jenter spiser epler. Girls eat apples.
Jenter spiser epler.
Where's the predicate in a sentence? Det riktig. Correct. The predicate comes second in a sentence. Verbal nummer 2. Attention! The predicate may be comprised of more than one word. For example, mora mi. My mom. Mora mi spiser epler. My mom eats apples.
Mora mi spiser epler.
We will learn this grammatical form, mora mi, later. Mora mi is a predicate. Why is it important for us to know that a predicate may be comprised of more words than one? Because a predicate always comes second. If we didn't know that, we might automatically say spiser after mora, and this is what we would get. Mora spiser mi epler. My mom is eating my apples. In Norwegian, this sentence is grammatically incorrect and does not mean what we intend to say. The predicate may also be comprised of more words than one. Let's remember. Skal kjøpe. Will buy. Vil spise. Want to eat. I will eat, and similar forms. Of course, the predicate will be comprised of more words than one when we use past and future forms of the verb. For example, jeg skal kjøpe mat. Jeg skal kjøpe mat.
I will buy food. Predicate. Skal kjøpe.
Skal kjøpe. Lise står opp veldig tidlig. Lise står opp veldig tidlig.
Lise gets up very early. Predicate. Står opp.
Står opp. Let's continue. What comes after the subject and predicate? Other parts of the sentence, such as object, indicates the object, clauses indicate where, when, and how the action is performed, adverb indicates how the action is performed, etc. Also have their place in a sentence. Besides, a clause answers to the question when, how, where, why, etc. Vi spiser lunsj hver dag. We eat lunch every day.
Vi spiser lunsj hver dag.
Do you want another example? I will say a sentence, and you will say where the subject and predicate is, okay? After a pause, Emma will help you check if your answer was correct. Hun kjører bil. Hun kjører bil.
How did you do? I think it was easy. Hun, she, subject. Kjører, drives, predicate. Hun kjører bil.
Let us try another one. Dere står opp 6:00. Dere står opp 6:00.
Let's check. Dere, you, subject. Står opp, get up, predicate. Dere står opp 6:00.
Another sentence. Hun skal reise nå. Hun skal reise nå.
Have you said it all? Let's check. Hun, she, subject. Skal reise, go, drive. Hun skal reise nå.
Do you remember the negative sentences? Yes, the ones with the clause ikke. Word order and the principal negative sentence is as follows. Subject plus predicate plus clause ikke plus other clauses. Han kommer ikke nå. He is not coming now.
Han kommer ikke nå.
We see, first comes the subject, second the predicate kommer, and afterwards ikke. Not that hard, right? Nei. Let's take a look at a negative sentence. When predicate is comprised of more than one word. Subject, predicate 1, clause ikke, predicate 2, and other parts of the sentence. Du skal ikke reise nå. You will not go now.
Du skal ikke reise nå.
Try and think of a negative sentence according to this model. Do not rush. If possible, write it down. If not, just say it out loud. I will give you a good advice to practice the correct order of words. Make small cards. You can use sticky notes or unnecessary business cards, and write part of a sentence on them. Subject, predicate, object, and clauses. Write the words on the other side of the card. Try to use unknown words. Think of and make new sentences. It's a great way to remember the word order in a sentence and to learn new words. Try it now. Let's return to our task. Think of a negative sentence which is started by the subject, just like in our last sentence. Du skal ikke reise nå. How did you do? If you didn't manage, rewind the lesson and listen to the grammar rules once again. Let's sum up what we've learned about word order in an independent positive and negative sentence. Most often, a sentence is started with the subject. The predicate is number 2, and other parts of the sentence come afterwards. The subject and the predicate may be comprised of more words than one. It's time for our break, Fakta om Norge. You were waiting for it, weren't you? Today, we will tell you some facts about religion, administrative division, and fines for traffic offenses. The religious situation of Norway. 83% of Norwegians are members of the Christian Evangelical Lutheran Church of Norway. Norway is a very secular country. Only 10% of the population attend the church once in a month. Norway is divided into 19 administrative regions that are called counties. Fylker in Norwegian. They are further divided into 433 municipalities. Kommuner in Norwegian. Only the county of Oslo is both a county and a municipality. Beside this division, the country is divided into 5 main regions. Landsdel in Norwegian. Southland, Sørlandet, Eastland, Østlandet, Westland, Vestlandet, Trøndelag, Trøndelag, North Norway, Nord-Norge. This division is more customary, traditional, and reflects geographic and dialectal differences. In Norway, fines for traffic offenses are stricter than in most other countries. Speeding in Norway may result in a stricter fine than, for example, possession of small amount of drugs in the United States. Yes, in Norway, you may be imprisoned, lose the driver's license, pay a fine of 10% of your annual income, and pay for a new driver's license. After these facts, speeding does not seem fun. By the way, what is the word for speed in Norwegian? En fart or hastighet.
En fart. En fart.
Speeding. Å overstige hastigheten.
Å overstige hastigheten. Å overstige hastigheten.
Talking about speed, let's repeat the numerals. If we want to say driving 10 kilometers per hour over the speed limit, we say å overstige hastigheten med 10 kilometer i timen. Let's remember that we will always use med in this phrase.
Å overstige hastigheten med.
Emma will now say a sentence in English. Please translate it. We will check the correct answer together.
He is driving 15 kilometers over the speed limit.
Han overstiger hastigheten med 15 kilometer i timen.
Han overstiger hastigheten med 15 kilometer i timen. He is not driving 20 kilometers over the speed limit.
Han overstiger ikke hastigheten med 20 kilometer i timen.
Han overstiger ikke hastigheten med 20 kilometer i timen.
Let's do it vice versa. We will say a sentence in Norwegian, and you will translate it. Han overstiger hastigheten med 17 kilometer i timen.
Han overstiger hastigheten med 17 kilometer i timen.
Have you translated it? Did you say he was driving 17 kilometers over the speed limit? Bra! Han overstiger ikke hastigheten med 34 kilometer i timen.
Han overstiger ikke hastigheten med 34 kilometer i timen.
Translation. He's not driving 34 kilometers over the speed limit. Let's learn some more useful phrases and words in case, God forbid, you are stopped on the road in Norway. Driver's license. Et førerkort. Et førerkort.
Et førerkort.
Pass a driver's license test. Get a driver's license. Å få førerkort. Å få førerkort.
Å få førerkort.
Valid driver's license. Et gyldig førerkort. Et gyldig førerkort.
Et gyldig førerkort.
Police. Et politi. Et politi.
Et politi.
Policeman. En politimann. Policewoman. Ei or en politikvinne.
En politimann. Ei eller en politikvinne.
Fine. En bot. En bot.
En bot.
Enough about policemen, fines, and speeding. We must drive safe. Would you translate this sentence for me? Let's do it together. We. First, we say the subject, then the predicate, må kjøre, and the remaining word, safe. Trygt. It's an adverb. We talked of them in the last 9th lesson, right? Vi må kjøre trygt. Yeah. Let's go back to ordstilling, word order in a sentence. We talked of hovedsetninger, the main sentences that start with the subject. You would probably ask me if a sentence always starts with a subject. No, not always. In Norwegian, a sentence may be started by nearly all parts of the sentence, object, clauses, etc., or even a subordinate clause. If a sentence is started with any other part of the sentence than the subject, we have inverted word order. Invertert ordstilling. How do we put the words into a sentence then? The predicate will still be in the second place in this case. If a sentence is not started with the subject will immediately follow the predicate. It's like a cornerstone in building the house of a sentence. Here's an example of a sentence started with an object or clauses. I dag skinner sola. Today the sun is shining.
I dag skinner sola.
Try and think of a sentence that starts with the time clause I dag. Today, and say it out loud. Remember that the time clause must be followed by the predicate and then the subject. Think of it and say it. We're waiting. Check whether sentence structure was as follows. I dag, time clause, predicate, subject. If so, great. Let's analyze another sentence that does not start with a subject. På badestranden finner jeg ofte mange skjell.
På badestranden finner jeg ofte mange skjell.
On the beach, I often find many shells. Ei or en badestrand. Beach. På badestranden. On the beach. Time clause in first position in a sentence. Finner, predicate, in the second place, plus jeg, subject following the predicate. På badestranden finner jeg ofte mange skjell. Try and think of a sentence with this model. Where, what do they do, who is doing it, how often. How did you do? If there is no inspiration, look around and use your imagination. Do not rush. Speaking of ordstilling I helsetninger, word order in main sentences, it is important to remember that if the predicate is comprised of two words, must go, må gå, can speak, kan snakke, etc., the predicate is inserted between them. For example, I dag skal jeg kjøpe mat. Today I will buy food.
I dag skal jeg kjøpe mat.
I dag. Today. Time clause. Skal. Part of predicate. Skal kjøpe are parts of predicate. Jeg. Subject was inserted between two words of the predicate skal and kjøpe. I dag skal jeg kjøpe mat.
I dag skal jeg kjøpe mat.
Try and think of a sentence according to this model. Emma, aren't we doing good with ordstilling?
Ja, I dag dere veldig flinke.
In addition to Emma's praise that you are very smart today, we have heard another sentence illustrating the order of words in a main sentence that is not started by the subject. I dag dere veldig flinke. Supert. Let's analyze the model of a main negative sentence that is not started by the subject. In this sentence, predicate will be in the second place, and then the subject and setningsadverbial ikke. Nå kommer hun ikke. She is not coming now.
Nå kommer hun ikke.
Think of a sentence of this model. To make it easier, start with nå. Now. How did you do? Listen to our examples of sentences and be sure to think of your own sentences. Try to use new words. Repetition is the mother of all learning, as the old Latin phrase says, repetisjon studienes mor. In the next lesson, cheerful as usual, we will continue with ordstilling. We will analyze the questions. It will be fun and interesting. By the way, where's Lisa today? Maybe she will be in the next lesson. Well, we will find out soon. And now, Emma and I are saying bye. Hear you soon.
Ha det! Vi høres!
I dag sier jeg ha det bra alle sammen. Vi snakkes.